Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Good morning, Flosstube. Or, as my British friends say, Flosstube. I am feeling good today. I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling silly. I am ready to go. I've got a lot of things planned out. I've got a lot of things to show you. I feel like Stitchman of the old days, where you're going to get just a little bit of stitching sprinkled on top of a solid base of complete nonsense. So this is going to be my best video ever, or that's it for me. I retire. I am going into exile, and Dylan can take over my channel. I'll pass the reins to my son.
Stitchman, Spider-Man.
I'm here. I'm feeling good. I'm ready. I got my living room back. I'm home alone right now. Nobody's here with me. I might not even be wearing pants right now. Who knows? I could be sitting here fully dressed, wearing appropriate pants for a 40-year-old, or I could be sitting here wearing Buzz Lightyear boxer shorts. You don't know. Do you want to know? Stay tuned. Maybe you'll find out. First things first, before we get started, it's always important to have a nice, healthy breakfast. And I know you think you know what's coming. You're saying, I've heard this joke many times before. There's no joke. There's no joke at all. Look, I'm just going to have a nice, healthy banana. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what joke you're talking about. However, if I take this banana and I cover it up with this towel right here, watch what happens. Watch this. You wave your magic stitch hand and you say, Bananio, Beerio! Look at that! Even better! So how is everybody? How's everybody been? How you doing? How's it been since the last time I did what? What did I do? It's spring. It's legitimately spring. I'm excited about that. I'm over winter. I don't want it to be winter anymore, even though I'm going to complain day after day about how hot it is in summer. Whatever. I've got 2 or 3 good weeks where I can just wear a sweater and be comfortable. I'm excited about that. I've still got my winter fur going on here. It might be time to give myself a little spring cleaning. My once a year cleaning and haircut that I do to myself. That might be coming soon. But other than that, I'm excited. I'm excited about every. I don't even know what I'm excited about. I'm excited about something. So before we get going and just jump straight into the stitching stuff, I want to give you a heads up about one of the fun things that I've got planned for you today. I have been told at various points throughout my life and currently by my family that I make a lot of noise when I sleep, and I snore and I moan and I talk and I make all these weird sounds. I don't believe them. I just don't believe them because I don't wake myself up and I don't hear any of these things. There's no way that I could sound the way they're making me sound, right? It's just not possible. So a couple of weeks ago, I dozed off on my couch and I actually woke myself up making one of these weird noises. It was loud enough that I actually woke myself up. And I was like, what? I wonder what I actually do sound like when I'm fully asleep. So I turned my camera on my phone and I laid it on my chest and I laid there and slept. And the result was astounding. Absolutely astounding. Apparently, when I sleep, I sound like I'm about 98 years old and I'm about an inch away from death, struggling to breathe, possibly not human. So what's the point? Why am I telling you all this? Who cares? Well, I decided that having something like that is a little bit too good to not share with the townspeople, right? You're the townspeople, and I'm going to share it with you. So I've decided that at various points during the video, I'm just gonna sprinkle that in every so often, just as a little comic relief for everybody. Break the tension a little bit because it's always so tense here, right? We need something to break it up. So just as a warning, so you're not sitting there stitching thinking, why is Stitchman playing sound effects of a yak being tortured? That's not what it is. Not to worry. It's just me struggling to breathe as I sleep. All right, well, let's do this. Let's talk about cross stitch. let's get into it. What are we waiting for? First, real quick, I just wanted to show you this. This is a fairly new design of mine that I finished and stitched up and showed you in my last video. So why am I showing it to you again now? Well, my last video was one of, if not my #1 lowest viewed video ever. So many of you may have missed this. What are you trying to say? You're trying to send me a message? You trying to tell me something? I'm listening.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Nothing is over! Nothing!
Nothing is over. Nothing. So this fabulous little thing right here, fabulous, isn't it? Is available in my shop right now. And if you'd like to hear more about it, feel free to go back and watch my last video because most of you probably missed it. Also this, I just wanted to show this again real quick. I know you've seen this a bunch of times before, but for some reason, this has seen a noticeable little bump in sales recently, even though like this is one of my oldest, this is the second thing I ever did, and it's been sitting there for a long time. All of a sudden, people are buying it again. I'm not really sure why. Possibly because I know Trixie Tricycle is working on it and showed it in her last video. I don't know if somebody else is, or maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know. But thank you. And here it is if you want to see it, if you bought it and you want to see what it looks like all finished. Here it is. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, enough about me. Let's see some stuff that I worked on that is not so self-serving. Let's try this again. First, Nevermore. Remember Nevermore? Remember what I said about Nevermore and what I was gonna do this time? Let's see what I said. You know, it's very doable. I'm gonna say that I'm definitely gonna be finished this by the time I film my next video. So what do you think? What do you think? Did I do it? I said I was gonna have the whole thing completely finished and show you. Do you think that I did that? What do you think, Robert De Niro from Cape Fear?
I know what you did. You're a damn predator. All right, just get the hell out of here, huh? I got a goddamn campaign.
Turns out, I didn't work on it at all. Not one stitch. Not one single stitch. But here, you can still see it again if you want because it's pretty. Look! Isn't that nice? Still looks exactly the same as it did last time. I said I was going to finish it, and I did not stitch one single stitch. Good job, Stitch Man! I don't know why I haven't learned this at this point after 42 videos, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try something different and see what happens. So if I really want to finish it for next video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you with 100% certainty that I am absolutely not going to work on this between now and my next video. Not one stitch. I'm not gonna touch it. There. Now it'll be done. Same thing with Jimmy Stewart. Another thing I told you was that after I finished my video, I was going to be in the mood to watch a Jimmy Stewart movie and just continue on with Jimmy Stewart. Do you think I did that? Nope. Not one stitch. Not one single stitch.
And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these.
Okay, so what did I do? Now that we've seen all the things I didn't do, what did I do anything at all? Maybe I didn't. Maybe we should just end this video right now. I did actually work on some stuff. One thing I actually did after my last video is I took 3 of my old whips that I haven't worked on in a really long time, and I got all 3 of them all Q-snapped back up again, so that at least, in theory, it would be easy to pick them up and work on them. Because part of the reason, not the only reason, but part of the reason why I don't work on some of that old stuff is because it's not just ready to go, even if the mood strikes. I don't like putting stuff in Q-snaps and dealing with all my extra fabric and all that kind of bullshit. And if it's not ready to just pick up and go, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to do something else. So I took the time and I got 3 of them all Q-snapped up, all ready to go. And I actually did work on 2 of the 3 of them. So let's take a look. First up, resurrected out of the old dead whip pile, Alice in a Dali dream. Can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see her? Let's see what Alice looked like the last time I showed her on here. And here's what Salvador Dali Alice looks like today. Impressive, right? Actually, it doesn't. It looked more impressive before because now I've got it all covered up with the Q-snap. You can't see a damn thing. What the fuck? So I know it doesn't look like much, but I did. That's probably, I don't know, 450 stitches about. It was a little bit of a struggle getting back into it because I don't know if the rest of you find this or not, or if you like work on a lot of big projects with a lot of colors. But where's my beer? When I'm working holy fuck, man. When I'm working on something a lot or consistently, like Chessie, I get so used to the symbols in the pattern and which color that is, I don't have to keep looking, which color is this and which color is this and which color is this. I don't have to look at all with Chessie. I know what all of the colors are, like which symbols match up with each colors. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You understand? You guys know what cross stitch is, right? But something like this that I haven't worked on in quite a while, I don't have that burned into my brain anymore. So every single stitch, like every symbol that I had to change colors, I didn't know what color that was. And I got to find it in the chart, and I got to find a little symbol, there's 3 pages worth of colors. Like, you know what I mean? They're not in any sort of like symbol-y kind of an order. I gotta find them, and I got, that gets annoying. That gets very annoying to not just be able to just know what color it is and get it quickly. I'm impatient with that kind of stuff. But I forged through and I plowed forward, and it really didn't take that long for it to start to come back to me. This is only 400-ish stitches, but already I was getting used to it again. So if I continue on, it won't take long for me to just remember and know which colors are which, and it'll go a little bit faster. And I do love working on this. I don't know why it keeps getting like set aside and pushed down on the list, because I do really love it, and I love working on it. So I'm kind of hoping that like this kind of jolted me back into continuing on and making this a little bit more of a priority, because I love it. I love the picture. I love working on it. I love everything about it. So do it then. Fucking do it. Next up on the list of reanimated whips, Sunflower Cottage. That's right, I whipped out my Sunflower and I started working on it again. Let's see what Sunflower looked like the last time you saw it. And here's what Sunflower looks like today. Again, all covered up. You can't see anything, just this tiny little strip. Not really impressive looking, but impressive because I started working on it again, and no other reason. That's why. So this is a stitch along that Emma from Emma X Stitching and I started together. I think 2 years. It might even be like the 2-year anniversary of this. It was 2 years ago that we started this, and I've finished 1 page. There's 9 pages in it. I've done 1 of them in 2 years. But look, now I've finally started page 2. So we're making progress, right? Someday before I turn 90, this might be finished at that rate. This is another one, and I was reminded of it again as I was working on it, that I do really enjoy working on this. The reason I wanted to do it in the first place is because I love working on fun things with fun colors, and this is full of fun things and fun colors. I love working on it. The reason why, I have excuses and reasons for everything, but why I feel like this keeps getting pushed down and not getting worked on is because I'm not knocking my table over. Oh, hang on. The reason this seems like a little bit of a lower priority is because I don't have any sort of vision for it when it's finished, or like a reason to do it. I'm not giving it to somebody. I don't see like, this is going to look good in my living room, or like where it would, but I mean, I'd like other things I have sort of like at least some sort of a vision of like, eventually someday, if I do get this finished and framed, this would look good here, or this would go to this person or whatever. I don't have any of that for this. I just like working on it, which is enough of a reason to be working on it, but it's also enough of a reason to keep it a lower priority if I feel like I have other things that like I have other reasons for. Does that make sense? I don't know. What did I even just say? But as far as the actual stitching goes, and like when I'm actually working on it and stitching it, I love it. I love working on this. So maybe I'll be able to at least fit this in every now and then, make a little bit of progress on it, and not just go like up one page every 2 years. So you say, why, like, hey, if you love stitching it so much, why'd you leave that little gap there? Why didn't you finish off your 400 stitches? Well, I was stitching this last night, and I started to, you ever get that, like, you want to be stitching, but you're really, really, really tired, and you fight it so much that, like, sometimes I actually fall asleep mid-stitch. Like, I'm pulling my needle through, and I'm dangling my thread, and I'm actually falling asleep as I'm doing it. And I'm fighting so hard to not sleep until I just sort of like just shake my head and like, why am I fighting this right now? I'm tired. Just go to bed. Like, is the world going to end if this doesn't get filled in? Once this gets filled in, what about this? And what about this? And what about the rest? There's always something else to do. Why, if I can't even keep my eyes open, why am I fighting this so hard? I do that all the time. I have fallen asleep stitching more times than I care to admit. And finally, the one that I made the most progress on, this guy right here, our old pal Chessie. Let's see what Chessie looked like last time. And this is what Chessie looks like today. What the bloody motherfuck? Can that possibly be real? Did I actually stitch that much in the last 3 weeks? Is that for real? Did I do that? I think I did. So what happened was I did actually intend to do exactly what I said I was going to do. I was going to stitch on Jimmy Stewart for a little bit, and I was going to finish Nevermore. But hang on, I'm burping. Banana flavored burps. So I decided before I was going to work on Jimmy Stewart and Nevermore, because I had like this little like 10 by 10 square here, a little bit done but not completely done. I thought, well, come on, I should at least finish that off before I keep going on anything else. So I'll just do those 50 stitches or whatever, and I'll set them aside and I'll stick to my plan. So I did that, and then I did a little bit more, and then I did a little bit more, and then I realized I'm kind of into this like blue again and seeing Chessie, and I was having fun, and before I knew it, I did like, how much did I do? I think that was like, where was that? How much did I do? it was all of this, all the way across, and then when I got down underneath his mouth, I started going downward like this, and this is all I have left. This little L shape right here is all I have left, and this entire page is going to be finished. What? How did that even happen? I decided because once I got going, I was really, really enjoying stitching on this. And I know you've heard this a couple of times before, but like sometimes I'm way into this and sometimes I'm not into it at all. And those times when I'm way into it, I need to stick with it because I can get, as you can see, I can get quite a bit done in a relatively reasonably short burst before I burn out on it and don't work on it for a month or two. So the more that I was still into it, the more I pretty much, I did a couple of little things that you saw, but I pretty much just stitched monogamously on this because it didn't feel like work, it didn't feel like a chore, and I was making a lot of good progress, and I liked it, so I stuck with it. That's what I did. I can already feel myself a little bit burning out on this and wanting to take a break from it. I'm kind of hoping, even though that's still it's not, it's doable, but it's still a significant chunk, but I'm kind of hoping that I can at least finish this page before I burn out completely and set him aside and want to take a break. Hopefully, we'll see. If not, whatever. I'm sure I'll be in the mood to stitch him again relatively soon. I used to force myself to work on stuff because I wanted to get it done by a certain time, or for Christmas, or it's going to be a present for this person or that person or whatever. I had reasons why I wanted to be working on stuff, and I would sometimes force myself to work on things that I didn't really want to be working on just because I wanted to get them done. And yes, granted, I did finish a lot of things doing that otherwise may not have gotten finished, But why am I doing that to myself? This is my only life. Why, if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, especially when it's like my hobby, my thing that I like to do in my spare time, why would I want to not enjoy doing it? So if I'm into it, I'm going to do it. If I'm not into it, I'm not going to do it. So I've been into it. I did it. We'll see what happens between now and the next video. All right, so that's it for things that I worked on, but I do have a few other things to do before we go, if you want to stay tuned. First up, we're going to do a little Stitchy Kindness segment. Let's do some Stitchy Kindness. Stitchy Kindness! I didn't take a big enough breath. Stitchy Kindness? Stitchy Kindness? I have no Stitchy Kindness because nobody sent me anything. Why do you hate me?
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
That's right. That's right.
Next, remember I used to do a segment called Ask Me Anything where you guys would ask me questions and I would answer them? Well, nobody has asked me any questions recently, but I'm not going to let that stop me. We're still doing it. Let's do it. Nobody asked me anything. First question that nobody asked me. Hey, Stitchman, are you planning any new starts anytime soon? Well, I'm so glad that you didn't ask because I've actually been, I don't know how I'm going to fit this in, you know, with all of my other stuff, but if I were to do a new start sometime soon, that I've been looking around. I've been looking at some Jacob stuff. I've been looking at some old Mystic Stitch stuff. I've been looking at some Heaven and Earth stuff. Like, what might I do if I have time to throw in something new? And the one that I keep coming back to is this one right here. There's something about this that I just love so much. I don't know what it is. Yes, okay, obviously it's the boobs. Okay, yeah, it's the boobs. I love the boobs. But I don't know. I love the colors and I love the circusy atmosphere of it, and I love the trampoline, and I love the girl, and I love the top hat, and like she looks, I don't know, this is my thing. I don't know what I would do with this. I don't think Melissa likes it. I don't know if we'd be able to hang it anywhere, but I like it. And if I start something new in the next little while, in the mood that I'm in, it's probably going to be this. She looks like every girl I've ever dated, by the way. Maybe that has something to do. This is my type of person. There was a time back in my bachelor days when if you were not swinging on a trampoline with your boobs out, you probably weren't the girl for me. So that was a prerequisite for me. That's actually how I met Stitch Lady Melissa. A circus rolled through town, and I went, and she was up there swinging around on her trampoline with her boobs out, and I yelled up, "Hey, trampoline girl, want to make a baby?" And she said, "Yeah, okay." And that's it. That's how it happened.
Stitchman, Spider-Man.
Next question that nobody asked me. Hey, Stitchman, what'd you think of the Oscars? Ooh, I'm so glad you didn't ask because I really want to talk about the Oscars. Best Oscars ever. Did you watch it? Did anybody watch it? Best Oscars ever. I was happy with every last person and movie and everything about it was perfect. I loved it. How about Brendan Fraser? Is there a person on the planet who isn't happy to see Brendan Fraser back on top of the world? Even like, hang on. Even the Austin Butler fans who it was sort of coming down to Austin Butler or Brendan Fraser. It's probably going to be one of the two. Even the Austin Butler fans, if you read the comments on the Brendan Fraser stuff, it's like, and I don't know if you know this or not, but the internet can be kind of a nasty place, especially in the comment section. There's usually a lot of negativity in there. But even the Austin Butler fans in the comments are sort of like, you know what? I thought Austin deserved it. I wanted him to win, but this was the right thing to do. You can't fault Brendan Fraser. Everybody loves Brendan Fraser. I was so happy to see him win, and not just because it was some sort of in keeping with a comeback story. Everybody loves a comeback, and it was nice to see him back. But he really deserved it. I watched The Whale twice. I saw it the first time just to sort of because I was all gaga over Brendan Fraser, and then I wanted to watch it again to was my judgment clouded, or is this really that good of a performance that it deserves an Oscar? And it did. He wasn't just a nice heartwarming story. He deserved it.
Thank you again, each one and all. I'm so grateful to you. Good night.
Same with Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen Everything Everywhere all at once, because if you haven't, you should probably stop what you're doing. Even if that means turning off this video, you should stop right now and run out to see it right now. You like, you know, the reaction to it could be like, you know, best picture, best director, best every actor wins, won everything. Is it really that good? It really is that good. It's that good. I've been keeping sort of an unofficial tally in my mind since the year 2000 of like what is the best movie, my favorite movie anyway, of the last like of the millennium. Like what is it? And so far, for me, nothing. There's been some great movies. Don't get me wrong. Closer, the Mike Nichols movie from like 2004. That's a great movie. La La Land is a great movie. Yeah, you heard me right. You heard me right. La La Land is one of my favorite movies of the last 23 years. For me, so far, nothing has rivaled There Will Be Blood. It's a perfect movie. It's one of the best performances, Daniel Day-Lewis, in like the history of movies.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
There Will Be Blood has been my favorite movie of the millennium, and nothing has rivaled it until now. I'm not saying like for sure, but like we may have a new champion. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. If something were to dethrone There Will Be Blood as the best movie of the millennium so far, it's that one. It really, really is that good. And again, with the comeback story, Ke Huy Quan, you know, that's not he was the kid, you know, everybody knows by now that he's the kid from Indiana Jones and the Goonies that, like, you know, he couldn't get a job and faded away for a while, and now it's not everybody. I know. I'm talking a mile a minute. Everybody loves a good comeback. It's a nice, heartwarming story, and he's a lovable guy. But that's not why he won. If he would have been at the top of his game, A-list star, biggest star in Hollywood, he still would have won that Oscar. He was amazing. Like, with a nod of his head, he can just turn into a completely different character. He plays several different characters in the movie, and you know nothing physically different about him, not even his clothes, but you always know who's who because they're so distinctly different. You know who he is at all times. That's not easy to do. That is not easy to do. He was amazing. He deserved that Oscar.
Mom, I just want an Oscar.
Last question that nobody asked me. So how about it, Stitch Man? Are you wearing pants or are you wearing Buzz Lightyear boxer shorts? Well, if you really want me to stand up and show you, and you think that I actually am going to stand up and show you, then obviously I must be wearing pants, right? Because showing my underwear in a floss tube would be pretty inappropriate, wouldn't it? Nobody wants to see that, do they?
To infinity and beyond!
You are a sad, strange little man.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I think that's a good place to end, don't you? Have you seen enough? Have I traumatized you? Thanks for watching. As usual, I will hopefully be able to squeeze in one more video before Stitch North. One more before Stitch North. Holy shit. That's coming up fast. I don't know what I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks. Maybe I will finish that page of Chessie. Maybe I'll finish Nevermore. Maybe I'll do both of those things. Maybe I'll do neither of those things. I don't know. And I'm not going to predict. All I know is stitching is fun. Brendan Fraser's the man. Banana Beer is delicious. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the best movie of the last 23 years. That's it. That's all I have to say. I'll see you next time.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!